Players in the Buckeyes have had more debits than credits this basketball year. Ohio State has nothing to lose. Time to risk it all and end the season on an upside. Jerry Dunn and the Nittany Lions are playing for postseason dividends. Penn State is in the market for a win after 2 setbacks. The tournament board meets tomorrow. Time for some net results. Big Ten basketball is on the playing floor next. Center on the campus of Penn State University provides a spectacular backdrop as the Ohio State Buckeyes take on the Penn State Nittany Lions in a Big Ten finale.
Hi, everybody. I'm Wayne Larrabee with former Northwestern star Sean Morris. We've got two teams here on opposite ends of the spectrum. You've got a very young Ohio State team, perhaps the youngest in the conference, Sean.
Well, you're exactly right, Wayne. As many as 4 freshmen starting at any one time for these Ohio State Buckeyes. As you take a look there, Ohio State coming in here, a very young and inexperienced team. The good news is a lot of people are coming back for them. The bad news is in the short term, they've had to take a lot of lumps of Big Ten play.
Meanwhile, Penn State has had what many call a breakthrough season. They're currently ranked 16th nationally, but on the eve of the NCAA tournament, they've lost 2 in a row, and that's concerning.
They got off to a fast start, both in non-conference and Big Ten play. They're coming off 2 tough road losses at Wisconsin and at Minnesota. They need to establish some momentum going into the NCAA tournament. I would look for them to go inside a little bit more than they have in the past to complement some of the outstanding perimeter play they've got from Pete Masicki and others.
All right, so it's youth against experience. Ohio State and Penn State. We'll be back with all the play-by-play, but first, let's step out to the Big Ten studio and Mike Gleason.
Okay, thanks a lot, Wayne Larrabee. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Big Ten studio, and once again, thanks for joining us for another Big Ten doubleheader today. Hard to believe we're at the end of the line as far as the regular season goes. Tomorrow, they'll announce the field for the Big Dance. Some Big Ten teams are still wondering if their invitation's in the mail. Now, in our second regional game today, it's Lou Henson's final Big Ten game as the Fighting Illini entertain the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Now, Michigan and Wisconsin square off in Ann Arbor, both teams looking to bolster postseason tournament chances. The Badgers desperately need a win to get on the NCAA shortlist, but hey, the Michigan Wolverines could be on the bubble as well. Conference champion Purdue, one final tune-up before a possible top seed in the NCAAs. They're at Iowa, and tomorrow the final regular season game of the season will pit Big Ten scoring champion Brian Evans and the Indiana Hoosiers against Michigan State. They'll play that game in Bloomington, Indiana. Okay, of course, Purdue, the three-peat at 15-2, but there's the bubble right there. Okay, is Michigan in? Are they out? 9-8. Minnesota's 9-8. Michigan State's 9-8. It's going to be interesting when they come out. 6 or 7 teams, okay, could be on the bubble. Well, are they going to get 6 or 7 teams? That's the big question. The Big Ten has been accustomed to a 6, possibly sometimes 7. Some people think 5 teams will go to the Big Dance from the Big Ten. Okay, in our second game today, Minnesota, of course, they believe they should be in, and we'll get you back to State College, Pennsylvania. It's the Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions of Penn State. That's coming up right after this.
What's got Dion acting so sweet?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you trying to catch this?
It could only be new Honey Frosted Wheaties. The new Frosted Flake that's kicked with Wheaties energy for a prime-time taste.
Can I get anyone a beverage?
New Honey Frosted Wheaties. It's sweet energy.
Hey, Junior, you like the...
The new Plymouth Voyager was named Automobile Magazine's All-Star Minivan for 1996. Car and Driver ranked it in their 10 best automobiles of 1996. And not only does it surpass other minivans on the road, but with a 3-liter, 150 horsepower V6 engine, it has 36 times the cargo space of a Porsche 911 for about a third of the price.
Oh, man, it's early. Well, farm boy here wanted to try one of these new biscuits.
Hey, early bird gets the worm. The worms must get up early.
Ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit A. Nice.
New fresh baked biscuits with bacon, egg, and cheese. They're bigger than McDonald's and now just 99 cents at Burger King.
My mother used to make biscuits just like these. And you moved out?
Who said he moved out?
New fresh baked biscuits at Burger King.
Looking for a better way to keep in touch with folks in Canada? AT&T's got a terrific offer. Just 9 cents a minute all weekend long. From anywhere in the U.S. to anywhere in Canada. 9 little cents a minute. Plus, low weekday rates and save 25% on U.S. calls. Only AT&T plans offer all that. Even if you're already a calling plan member, just call 1-800-272-WORLD to enroll. 9 cents a minute to Canada, all weekend long for 6 whole months. Now that's a great way to keep in touch. That's your true choice, AT&T.
Singleton's played well of late. Jermaine Tate is the center. Stone Rook at forward. An explosive player, Rick Butte, provides the outside offense. For the Penn State Nittany Lions, under Coach Jerry Dunn, we're seeing the Ohio State lineup. There we go. Penn State, Donovan Williams, Chris Rogers, Calvin Booth, Max Audio, Glenn Secunda all have one thing in common. They are seniors, and it is Seniors Day. A tradition here at Penn State. They allow their seniors to start the final game on the home floor. We'll be back with the opening tip of this afternoon's game after these messages. Today's Big Ten game is brought to you by Amoco. Crystal Clear Amoco Ultimate Premium Gasoline, because you expect more from a leader. Chrysler Plymouth and your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. NutraSweet for your sweeter side. And Honey Frosted Wheaties.
Life's adventures can take you anywhere, and it's so much easier to get there in a Ford Explorer with switch-on all-wheel drive. It's the top-selling sport utility with standard dual airbags, as well as the roomiest interior. Plus, Explorer has the highest quality of any compact sport utility.
Your Ford dealers, the driven one.
The new Ford Explorer, far and away the best the world has to offer.
Redding Service Bodies, on the job. Something you can trust and depend on. You can store more, do more, save more time. And Redding's Electrolyte Primer protects against rust. Redding Stake Bodies, designed tough for your rugged delivery needs.
We have bought Redding truck bodies for 16 years. They've just never let us down.
Redding Utility Bodies, always tough and dependable. Now in stock at Faulkner Pontiac GMC in Trevose and Classic Chevrolet, Turnersville, New Jersey. Highway Marine, the tri-state area's #1 boat dealership. 16 acres filled with the finest boats in America. Featuring Mercury Outboards, America's #1 choice. ProCraft for the serious bass fisherman. StarCraft, quality and integrity since 1903. And Spectrum, the most boat for your money. Save up to 25% on selected models this week only. Highway Marine in Quakertown. We're so much bigger because we're that much better.
Call 215-536-4721 today.
Ohio State and Penn State, Wayne Larrivee along with Sean Morris. Let's take a look at a couple of key players in this afternoon's game. First off, we expect inside action from Penn State, Sean.
Well, Penn State really trying to establish an inside game. They need to establish it earlier on, particularly with the difficulties Ohio State has had defending the post.
And, of course, for Ohio State, Jason Singleton has played very well of late. In the back row of Damon Stringer, the opening tip, we're underway. Rogers getting the start here today. Gaudio in close.
And there it is, Wayne. Penn State really trying to pound it down in low. Gaudio really established himself early.
On the drive, Singleton answers for Ohio State. Expect the Buckeyes to press a little bit in the backcourt, Sean, and try to get this game into the open floor if they can.
Well, they don't want to get into a half-court set because Penn State really has the ability, experience-wise as well as strength-wise, to really pound them in a half-court game.
Donovan Williams. Secunda up high. Got a foul coming up here as Singleton got tied up around the screen. First foul of the ball game.
And Wayne, you mentioned at the top of the show the experience factor that is in Penn State's favor. And watch them in the half court. They really execute the half-court offense as well as anybody in the Big Ten Conference and probably the country.
Rogers for three. Chris Rogers getting a rare start here today on Seniors Day. Opening minute of play in this first half.
And Penn State shows a little bit of zone after that make.
Stringer, Rick Butte, Stone Rook, Tate, and Singleton on the floor for Ohio State in the traveling red uniforms. Stringer for three. Here comes Rogers. And had it knocked away from behind by Donovan Williams. Kind of hard when you got your own man playing defense.
I hate to be the stand person trying to figure out who to get that one to.
Exactly. Who does that turnover go to?
With Penn State in the zone defense, watch for them to really give help and talk Rick Ute through the zone. He's really the perimeter threat that Ohio State tries to focus on.
Post defense was right on that time by Secunda, and here comes Gaudio. Matt Gaudio makes it a 7-2 ball game in favor of Penn State. Boy, Secunda on the other end, though, set that whole thing up, denying the interior feed to the post. Ohio State, we saw them in practice yesterday, work a lot on their half-court patience. Nice interior feed, and Singleton in close.
Good interior feed by Ute, and a nice flash cut by Singleton coming from the high post down into the low block. Penn State did not talk him through the zone, gave him a wide open shot.
Secunda has struggled recently from the arc. Booth puts it back. Calvin Booth, the leading shot blocker, single season in Penn State history with 97 shot blocks, gets his first 2 points of the game. Stone Rook stopped by Booth and gave it up. On the drive, Secunda blocking foul, score.
And a perfect job in transition offense by Penn State. Off the miss, they get the ball in the middle of the floor. Rogers does a nice job. We'll see it coming up right here. And watch where he stops. He makes the delivery before he gets to the foul line, gets in too deep. Secunda runs the floor. Good call to finish the block. We'll see it from a different angle. Ute just not able to get over there, not able to square his body, and a good job by Secunda. And Wayne, he's really struggled offensively in the last 4 or 5 games. For him to get his confidence back, that's a great way to do it. Open floor, easy shot, have a chance to go to the foul line for a 3-point play.
Sean, in the last 6 games, he's shooting 22% from the floor overall, 7 of 27 from the arc, 26%. This is a guy who provides a lot of offense for Penn State from the outside. So people wondering why this team is struggling. People have identified across the conference Jerry Dunn's outside game and who the shooters are, and they're going to Secunda, and they're staying home on Lisicki. That type of thing, and it's been harder in the second half of the Big Ten season for Jerry Dunn's team to score points.
And I think that goes well into what they're trying to do going into the NCAA tournament, is establish more of an inside presence as well, because as you mentioned, Wayne, the perimeter game has really become the go-to part of this Penn State offense, and they're able to get out and jam the shooters a little bit more. Lisicki and Earl are not as effective off the dribble as they are off the standstill, so that in order for them to have the ability to score where they're comfortable, they need an inside presence as well.
Secunda at the free throw line. Penn State leading by 7 here in the early going. First 3.5 minutes of this first half, making it 8-point Nittany Lion lead. We had a delay in the game a moment ago because of a little bit of a leak in the roof, apparently we're told. Some moisture had fallen onto the floor. Singleton down low, had it stripped away, but a foul coming up. It's on Secunda. He got the hand down on the ball, his first and the first on the team.
And that's the second time against that half-court zone that Singleton has done a nice job of finding the seam. He scored the first time on a nice feed from Ute. Right there, he found the seam between the seams of the zone and knocked it down.
There's Ute from the outside for 2. Had a foot on the three-point line, Rick Ute. And Penn State's lead is down to 6. 12-6. Randy Ayers reconstructing this Ohio State program. Some pressure in the backcourt. Part of the game plan was to force the ball out of the hands of the point guard, whoever that might be. In this case, Rogers. Normally, it's Danny Earl. It's over 5 minutes gone by in this first half. Singleton did not have defensive position. He picks up his second personal foul, 3rd on the team. Ohio State comes in here playing basically 7 freshmen on a regular basis in their rotation. And the first substitution made in the game for Ohio State, Nashawn Coleman from Toledo, a freshman, steps into the lineup for the Buckeyes. Coleman suffered a mild concussion the other night in the game against Indiana. Of course, as you know, Sean, a mild concussion is any concussion that doesn't happen to you.
You're exactly right.
Secunda from deep. Booth rebounds.
Well, Booth, not a bad job of blocking out by Ohio State, but Booth is able to extend those arms.
Calvin Booth out of Columbus, Ohio. Tate, baseline, gets it to Rick Ute. Nashawn Coleman from the outside, and Booth the rebound. Obviously inspired against his hometown team, the Buckeyes of Ohio State. He was not recruited to Ohio State. They had some big people in their program at the time. Wilburn and Ecker, both of whom left later. Calvin Booth was a project in Secunda mishandles down low. Here come the Buckeyes. Nice lead pass. Stringer to Tate.
Nice catch in traffic by Tate. Good bust out by Jermaine Tate on the from defense to offense. Rather, he's rewarded with a good bucket.
Rogers double team, gives it up to Donovan Williams. Matt Gaudio for two. Rebound battle, and it's going to belong to who? They've got a foul coming up. And we've got a break of the action. Calvin Booth on the foul. Will return to Bryce Jordan Center. Penn State 14, Ohio State 8.
Whether you live in a mobile home, apartment, condominium, or own your own home, Auto Owners Insurance can save you money on your premiums with our multiple policy discounts. By insuring your residence and your automobile with Auto Owners, you're eligible for a multiple policy discount that can reduce your premiums or possibly increase your coverage. It's our way of thanking you for doing more of your business with us.
Plymouth has new ways to shop for a car. Hop on the internet at home or visit Plymouth Place, our interactive computer at your local mall, where you can create your own customized Plymouth Neon, Voyager, or Breeze. Take a test drive on the Information Superhighway, where you'll discover that Plymouth is fun, affordable, and a whole new way to shop for a car.
Station is up to speed.
This update brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth. The MAC Finals in Toledo, Ohio. Toledo's Craig Thames against Eastern Michigan. Goes in amongst the trees, grabs the offensive rebound, hits the wild layup, but it's halftime right now. Eastern Michigan by 10. It's Eastern Michigan 35-25 over the Rockets. Let's go back to Wayne and Sean.
Thank you very much, Mike. We talked about Randy Ayers and his Ohio State program. The entire five-man recruiting class of 1992 has left Ohio State, leaving Randy in a position where he's got to play 7 players. They had big men like Gerald Ecker and Nate Wilburn in that recruiting class, and that's why they did not recruit number 52 in white for Penn State, Calvin Booth.
Well, Calvin Booth doing an excellent job right here, just extending those long arms. Tate, not bad position, just not able to clean up, and Calvin Booth finishes with the dunk. But you talked about the criticism a little bit that Randy Ayers has received for not recruiting Calvin Booth. You pointed out the factors around that reason for not recruiting him. That's a perfect example of where a little bit of knowledge can be a dangerous thing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and again, Calvin Booth is a guy who really coming out of high school was not heavily recruited around the country at all, but came here to Penn State, put in a season as a redshirt last year working against John Amaechi, one of the great players in Penn State history, who's here as an alumni today. He's a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Booth has built himself up a little bit, although he is still on the slight side. And we've got an offensive foul coming up. This is going to turn the ball over. I believe it's Stonerook, the guilty party.
Yeah, they got Stonerook setting a screen, extended his arms, and put Pete Lisicki on the floor. See right here, the screen. Well, actually, they got Ute.
They got Ute on the foul, yep. His second personal foul, and the third, make it the fourth on the team. Ute and Singleton have 2 personal fouls apiece. This is Matt Gaudio. Danny Earl is in the lineup now, the regular point guard for Penn State. Pete Lisicki also returns or steps in for the first time today on the wing. Good three-point shooter. Gaudio, low post player, finds Secunda at the arc. Nice cut to the baseline.
Nice job going to the weak hand or left hand by Secunda, knocks down the little baseline jumper. Ohio State wins zone that position to try to take away the inside presence of Penn State.
Good catch by Tate. Nice turn. Nothing but net. Jermaine Tate.
He's playing with a lot more confidence, particularly through the second part of the Big Ten season, Wayne. Catching and squaring up and shooting the ball. Earlier on in the season, he was hesitating a bit, particularly from the perimeter. Now he's just taking up and firing.
Nittany Lions forced to bring the ball up with other people besides Dan Earl. Now Earl gets the basketball. He's covered by Coleman. This is Lisicki, guarded by Stringer. Penn State's lead is 6. Calvin Booth goes to work. My goodness. 6 for Booth. He's shown us a little of everything.
Well, he really has, and lately he has not been looking to be assertive offensively. Really stepped up his offensive game, particularly in the first 6 or 7 minutes of this game.
You know, they were talking, Jerry Dunn was mentioning that he thought Calvin may have hit a wall, you know, freshman and first full Big Ten season, and, you know, you get a little tired of this time of year. And he felt that may have been the case with Calvin in recent games, but Booth today looks very much inspired. A long 3 attempt off the mark there. Gaudio saves to Secundo. Damon Stringer's shot off the mark, and here come the Nittany Lions. Pete Lisicki kicks to Dan Earl for 3. Gaudio retrieves the air ball, but lost to Stonebrook. The action getting just a bit sloppy now as we near the 13-minute mark, first half.
And Penn State showing a lot of different defenses early on with this young Ohio State team. They played zone on 2 or 3 possessions. Here they go straight man-to-man.
The lead is 8 for Penn State. We're watching the Buckeyes of Ohio State on the attack. Stone Rook guarded by Gaudio. Pass off the mark intended for Belter. And off the turnover, here are the Nittany Lions. Earl hits Lisicki on the cut. Dish to Booth, and a foul coming up on Stone Rook. Before we take a look at that foul, let's take a look at the Amoco Big Ten leaders, brought to you by Amoco Crystal Clear, Amoco Ultimate Premium Gasoline, because you expect more from a leader. 3-point shooting in the Big Ten. Pete Lisicki leading the conference. Dan Earl, Glenn Secunda also in the top 5. So that gives you an indication of what you have to watch out at the arc.
And with Lisicki on that last play, we've already seen what he's able to do from the perimeter, and they have to respect that. They came up, he showed a little bit of a shot fake, and was able to get down around the Ohio State defender, break down the defense, and deliver to Calvin Booth at the block.
Booth makes good on his first. He'll have another. 2 at the line for Calvin Booth, who has 8 points here in this first half to fuel a 10-point Penn State lead. Jeremy Metzger steps into the lineup, replacing Calvin Booth for Penn State. Biggest lead of the afternoon. Ohio State spaces the floor pretty well now. Coleman off the mark. Metzger the rebound. Metzger did not practice yesterday, suffering the effects of the flu. Lisicki with the skip pass to Secunda. Phil Williams on the floor now. There's Secunda at the foul line. Williams the offensive rebound, and the foul coming up. It's on Jermaine Tate, I believe.
They got Jermaine Tate on the hold with Williams. Great ball movement in the open floor. Ball never hit the floor. Nice skip pass by Williams. Created the shot opportunity for Secunda, but you see right there, Tate had a hold of Phil Williams, like Phil Williams would make that grab for that last Big Mac.
Yes. Tate denies the interior feed off the inbounds play. Makes the steal for Ohio State. Coleman penetrating. No, but a foul. Now the youngster forced the action that time.
Well, a good job by Coleman off the transition. They kick it ahead to him, and then a poor job by Penn State in transition defense. One of the cardinal rules is always stop the dribble. He was able to get well into the lane and draw the contact.
Jeremy Metzger picks up his first personal foul. That's the 3rd on the team. Deshaun Coleman at the free throw line. As I mentioned, suffered a mild concussion. Played only 3 minutes in the game against Indiana. He's averaged 9.5 points as a starter, but just 21 points in the last 4 games. So this freshman, too, may have hit a wall in late February. Coleman 1 out of 2 at the line for Ohio State, who the Buckeyes trailing by 9. And Jamie Bosley comes into the lineup. Asked the Ohio State people, what does Jamie Bosley bring to the party? And they said, well, he's a pest. He's all over. He's everywhere.
He is a big man's worst nightmare because we watched him in practice yesterday. Every rebound, he's in there slapping and hacking.
Trap in the backcourt. They get it ahead to Lisicki. You got to credit Ohio State. They've done their game plan. They've created some havoc in the backcourt. They've made it more difficult for Penn State to get into their half-court offense.
Yeah, they really have. They've been given a lot of help on the perimeter, doubling down on the post.
Earl, nice look inside. Big House is fouled on the play. Belter came over to help out.
Well, a good steal right here by Phil Williams. He gets Tate on his hips, little drop step, takes it up strong, draws the contact. And the one thing you like about this Penn State team, Wayne, is the fact that every player has a role. Phil Williams knows that unless he's wide open as he was there on a good interior feed by Earl, he's not going to score. He's in there to rebound, play some defense, set some screens. He leaves the scoring to some of the other guys. All these guys, individually and athletically, probably not as gifted as some of the teams they play throughout the year, but collectively, they perform their roles extremely well.
Very smart ball club, too, Sean. They make few mistakes in terms of strategy and what they're trying to do in their offense. Phil Williams, 1 out of 2 at the line. 11:48 to go first half. Better than 14,000 on hand watching Penn State on Senior Day.
To play for a team in the NBA, taking it downtown, crashing the boards. With DirecTV's NBA Team Pass, at least I can follow any team. Or I can give it the full court press, NBA League Pass. Every team, the Magic, Knicks, Rockets, Suns, up to 30 great matchups every week. Yeah, I could be out there with those guys. Really, I could. You won't find the NBA like this on cable, so call 1-800-DIRECTV.
There's a hard-working gasoline.
You sure about this?
With the power to drive down maintenance costs.
Really? Are you serious?
Yes, we are. Exxon gasoline keeps your engine cleaner.
Clean is good.
So it can help drive down maintenance costs.
Could gas do that?
Exxon gasoline can, with the power to drive down maintenance costs.
Good idea.
And so is this. Cash and credit prices are the same.
Okay, I'll try it.
People stopping by to rely on the Tiger.
Plymouth Neon Coupe with a zippy 2-liter 16-valve engine. Ride-tune suspension, a 5-speed tranny, and 132 wild ponies. It's a pretty hot little number. Plymouth Neon Coupe, just $99.95.
Made of.
Today's Big Ten Conference game is a copyrighted telecast of Creative Sports Incorporated. Any use, rebroadcast, or other transmission of any or all of this game without the express prior written consent of Creative Sports is prohibited. Now, a couple of the young fans on hand here at Happy Valley. And right now enjoying this ball game because Penn State leads by 10 over Ohio State. Don Giantonio reports on in the backcourt of the Buckeyes. Antonio, number 35, with the ball right now. $11 and a half to go, first half of play. Tough pass there. They didn't have very good spacing that time, but it was last touch on the play by the Buckeyes. It'll belong to Penn State off the turnover as he tried to hit Bosley with the pass.
Your poor spacing and outstanding defense by Penn State, contesting every pass, getting their hands in the passing lane. Giantonio just threw it away.
5 turnovers now for the Buckeyes, who trail by 10. Secunda swings loose of Stonerook and hits the 2. Secunda with 7 points now, off to a good start, and Randy Ayers wants a 22nd timeout. His Buckeyes have slipped behind for the first time today by 12. So the Buckeyes will talk things over. A young team like this on the road on what is normally an emotional day. You have to be careful. You can't fall too far behind.
Take a look at the nice ball movement once again by Penn State. Stonerook just got lost on the play. Squares up. Secunda knocks it down. That's a good sign for Penn State. He has really struggled from the perimeter as of late.
They'd like to get Secunda on track going into the tournament, as well as their game in general for the Penn State Nittany Lions. They will probably get, Sean, I would think, what, maybe anywhere from a 4th to a 6th seed in one of the regionals in the upcoming tournament, and we'll know that tomorrow night. The selections are made. Ohio State resumes. Giantonio. Tate with 20 to go on the shot clock. Plenty of time. This is Stonerook.
Oh, nice back cut.
With a beautiful cut.
Great back cut by Bosley. He came up, little V cut. Got Earl to turn his head. Nice delivery.
Secunda gets the step on Giantonio. Lisicki sets and fires. Belk nectar was spilled on the play, and a foul coming up against Penn State's Glenn Secunda. His second and the fourth on the team.
A nice execution by Ohio State. The last time down the floor, see the little V-cut right there, and Lisicki just got lost. Bosley, nice cut. Good delivery by D'Antonio.
Jamie Bosley replaced in the lineup now. Reporting back on is Jason Singleton for Ohio State. Ohio State's come out 4 of 6 shooting in the early going. Turnovers have hurt the Buckeyes. D'Antonio driving on Earl. Shoots over Lisicki. Williams the rebound.
Turnovers in that sequence really capitalizes their problem so far. They've been one and done. No offensive rebounding by the Buckeyes.
Pete Lisicki. Jeremy Metzger blocked on the play by Tate. Here comes D'Antonio. Stone Rook gets by Williams. Nice inside on Metzger. Stone Rook looking to put it back up. Oh, what a beautiful shot. It wouldn't go.
That's a shame. A great offensive individual effort by Stone Rook. Just not able to get it go. Nice crossover. Wasn't able to finish around the rim.
Earl for 3. Williams inside. Williams again. Tate with the block. This is Stone Rook.
Boy, Tate really gets off the floor very quickly, Wayne. Gets up there and extends his arms, able to make up for his lack of strength at this point in his career with some great athleticism, particularly able to extend and explode very quickly.
And I'll tell you what, people talk about how high guys can jump. It's not how high, it's how quick you can get up. And get up again. D'Antonio, nice to the bucket. Nicely done.
D'Antonio beats the initial Penn State defender, but then a poor job of rotating defensively by the Nittany Lions. No one came over to impede his progress.
8:45 to go first half. Ohio State trailing by 8. Lisicki again loose at the arc, and this time he buries the tray. Second three-pointer of the game for Penn State, the first for Pete Lisicki. And the lead is 11 for the Nittany Lions.
And that basket was created by the penetration of Danny Earl, drawing the defense and dishing to a wide-open Lisicki. And off the make, Penn State once again mixing up their defenses, goes a little bit of zone.
Rick Ute from the outside for 2, nothing but net.
Rick Ute scores.
His second from the field, he has 4. The lead is 9 for Penn State. Lisicki to the try. D'Antonio knocks it out of bounds. 7 minutes and 57 seconds left to go first half. Penn State.
The best way to introduce the new Plymouth Breeze is by applying the lessons you learned in kindergarten. Take turns. Share with others. Follow the rules of safety. And oh yeah, get something really cool to bring to show and tell. The new Plymouth Breeze.
Hey, I used to get upset once in a while. I'd even yell at a kid now and then. Well, then one day I said, hey, Bob, time out. These are just kids. Who cares if a guy misses a basket? I mean, this is just a game. It's time for me to enjoy the sweet things in life. Picnics, puppies, and things with the great taste of NutraSweet.
Taste the difference NutraSweet makes.
Mitchell, would you like to play now?
Tonight feels kind of weird, but it's a good weird. I can feel it in my bones. This is not going to be your run-of-the-mill laundry doing pizza eating kind of night. I will not be exercising tonight, or philosophizing, or organizing. What I am going to do is look for women who look like trouble, and I'm going to flirt with them heavily, because tonight I'm not just drinking beer, I'm gulping life. I'm going to eat the night alive. What are you going to do? Molten ice, step outside.
Wayne Larrabee, Sean Morris at the sparkling new Bryce Jordan Center on the campus of Penn State University. The Nittany Lions at the moment holding an 11-point lead over Randy Ayers and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State not shooting poorly. They're 8 of 15 from the floor. Penn State at 50%, 10 for 20, but turnovers 5 for Ohio State. And the rebounding edge has belonged to Penn State, 11 to 4.
And a lot of those have come on the offensive glass for Penn State, particularly Booth early on.
Jared Stevens is reported in the ball game for Penn State in place of Glenn Secunda. Earl for 3 for the outside. A push on the rebound, and let's see what we have here. Apparently it's on Penn State. Phil Stevens clearing out down low. His first. 5 on the team. Glenn Secunda had a seat on the bench. Sean opened up 3 of 6 from the field, which I'm sure he's breathing a sigh of relief right now. His shooting has not been good over the last 6 games or so.
And for his confidence, he got a couple of those in transition early on and a couple of good looks at the rim early.
Tate surrounded by Lions. Clears to Ute. There's plenty of time in the shot clock. Interior feed to Tate, and the foul by Dan Earl trying to knock it away inside, helping out. His first, 6 on the team.
Well, Tate has been very active on both ends of the floor. He was really tied up with Phil Williams down on the block, and he's going to lose that battle of the girth every time. But from a quickness standpoint, Tate can more than hold his own.
I think that foul on Phil Williams. Inside instead of Dan Earl. There's Lisicky with the intercept. This is Dan Earl. Donovan Williams. Williams at the arc. Williams another offensive rebound. Phil Williams. Stevens down low. Well, they've got some beef with Jared Stevens and Phil Williams inside against this slight Ohio State team. It'll belong to Ohio State here. Matt Gaudio back into the lineup, replacing Pete Lisicky.
And with Gaudio back in, Wayne, I would look for Penn State to really try to reestablish what was successful for them earlier on, which was get the ball inside. Gaudio scored the first 2 or 3 baskets of the game and was able to establish a tempo. The last 4 or 5 possessions, they seem to be content to launch it from the outside, and it's not dropping for them.
You saw Jermaine Tate have a seat on the Ohio State bench, and Scott Grabney reports on, and this is a freshman that I know you really were impressed with in practice yesterday.
Well, he's slight of build, but I tell you what, I like his stroke, and I think that if he gets some experience and bulks up a little bit, he's going to be a nice player.
Singleton, tough shot there. His third from the field, he has 6 points.
And that's the 3rd time against that stretched out zone defense he's been able to find the seam and knock it down. I've been impressed with his recognition of the defense.
Donovan Williams driving on Damon Stringer. Nicely done.
Basket by Donovan Williams.
Williams in his final game here at Penn State. Stringer right back. Rick Ute for 3. Bring it up.
Boy, that baby drew rain. That thing needed a fair catch signal. That was up there a long time, but a great job of penetration by Stringer, drawing the defense and then creating open scoring opportunities for Ute.
Mishandled by Williams turns it back to Ohio State. Suddenly it's a 6-point ball game as Jerry Dunn glances at the scoreboard. Penn State on top, Ohio State on the attack. Coming up on 6 minutes left to go first half. Gradney with the stroke. Dan Earl the rebound. Earl playing his best basketball of the season. They call him Mr. March here. Jarrett Stevens, his brother played at Michigan State. Stevens gets a reprieve and a beautiful twisting move inside.
Well, he brings another big body off the bench for Penn State and a good job of staying with it. Finishes with a tough shot with the right hand.
Penn State's lead is 8. Ute throws it away. Dan Earl on the drive. Donovan Williams trying to finish. Belter retrieves. Gradney given some room outside. Booth is back into the lineup for Penn State. And the Buckeyes set the offense. 8-point lead, Penn State.
And with the lack of a real serious inside threat, Ohio State really spreads the floor, trying to get everything going to the basket with penetration.
Calvin Booth. Gaudio sets to Earl. 4 steals by Penn State in this first half.
Double dribble.
Yep. Let's take a look at our finish line. First half replay of the game brought to you by Finish Line. Take a look at Stevens here. Denied initially. Gets it back. And how about that? Nice little wraparound move to the bucket. That's our finish line, a replay of the game in this first half. 4:27 to go. Damon Stringer. Booth clears the board. Stevens had it knocked away. Belcher comes up with it. Good defensive play by Singleton.
It really was. He was in no man's land back there. Good job of running the floor by Stevens. Good delivery, just not able to convert. Nice rotation defensively in transition by Singleton.
This is Scott Gradney. Trying the tough feed to the block that time, and Steve Belcher was not open. Off the turnover, Nittany Lions back the other way. Stevens throws it away. Jerry Dunn not at all happy with the way things have gone in the last 2 or 3 possessions for Penn State. 3:44 to go first half, however. The Nittany Lions still lead by 8.
That was some kick.
Absolutely.
Good kick, man.
My man Chuck with the twisted ankle kicked the 25-yarder. We've been talking about this for years.
Did we ever tell you ladies about the kick? It was pouring rain.
Then this guy Chuck with a broken leg kicked the game winner for 45 yards.
Did I ever tell you kids about the kick?
It was a freak November blizzard. And then your dad, in a full body cast, hit that miracle kick from 60 yards.
Things just seem to get better around the Pizza Hut pizza. You'll love the stuff we're making.
The new Plymouth Voyager was named Automobile Magazine's All-Star Minivan for 1996. Car and Driver ranked it in their 10 best automobiles of 1996. And not only does it surpass other minivans on the road, but with a 3-liter, 150 horsepower V6 engine, it has 36 times the cargo space of a Porsche 911 for about a third of the price.
Wasn't easy trading in the old Taurus. Had room, safety, comfort, so we compromised. I kept the old one, she got the new one. It's larger than last year, with more interior room. Plus, it rated highest in a recent safety test. It beat Accord, Camry, even Volvo and Saab.
With 600 cash back, Taurus is priced less than last year. Or get 4-8 financing.
The winner of this season's Chrysler Plymouth Championship Challenge is John Kennard of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who correctly picked the Big Ten Conference champion. John will receive a trip for 2 to the 1996 DirecTV Grade 8 tournament. Our congratulations to John. We'd also like to congratulate our Big East winner, Bill Packwood of Bristol, Connecticut, who correctly picked the Big East 6 and 7 divisions regular season champions. Wayne Larrabee and Sean Morris. Bryce Jordan Center of the campus of Penn State University. The Nittany Lions have never lost in this building. A perfect 7-0 since it opened on January 11th. This is a big key in the game here this afternoon. Points off turnovers. Penn State with an 8-point advantage there, and it has resulted in an 8-point lead on the scoreboard. Nice interior feed. Singleton from Tate.
Nice job by Tate of catching and then leaning down with the bowling pass, and Singleton playing a nice game for Ohio State on the block.
8 points for Singleton here in this first half. Again, the lead is 6 for Penn State. Damian McKnight out of Miami, Florida, Edison High School in the lineup for Penn State with the ball now. Here's Phil Williams, big house. McKnight wanted to go down low to Gaudio. There we go. Still have good hands, Sean.
I tell you what, I thought you were going to square up and knock down the 3.
Yeah,
you look good.
I was looking for it, but Randy here said, no, don't do that. That was a little out of my range, just a little. McKnight sets it up for Penn State. 6-point lead for the Nittany Lions. Under 3 minutes to go first half. Pete Lasicki. His second from the field. He has 5 points in the game.
And that was set up by a nice baseline screen by Phil Williams, able to get Lasicki free. It's more like a door, though. It's not a screen when he sets one.
Exactly. Tate, tough shot there. Williams, another rebound. He and Booth have been dominant down low, haven't they?
They really have, and that's why I don't understand why Penn State has not really tried to utilize it in the latter part of this first half. Their inside game, as much as they did early on, they were able to establish it and control the tempo.
Nittany Lions all season have, for the most part, lived at the arc, traveling. Another turnover here by Penn State. Matt Gaudio very upset with himself on that. I think he slipped on the floor, and that's where they were cleaning up some moisture earlier.
That's the same area.
And we're not sure if it's from the roof, but that's what we were told, that it might be something that's leaking from the roof, some kind of condensation. Hate to say that a new building is a leak in the roof already.
Well, they've had a lot of snow here.
Yeah.
You know, unlike the person that when we checked in to get the rental car yesterday, we asked her about the snow situation. Oh, nothing major, only 6 or 8 inches yesterday.
Yeah.
I guess everything's relative.
You're right. 6 to 8 inches is nothing up here. They've been pelted by snow here on the East Coast all winter. It just won't let up. Temperature down around 0 this morning. Here's Tate. Believe he traveled, or did he?
Boy.
No, he was fouled. Matt Gaudio picks up the foul. His first, 7th on the team. So Tate heads to the line.
He was really out of control, Wayne, on that drive. He's going to his left, comes back with a spin move. Looked like he might have got away with a little bit of a bunny hop, but the official got the hold.
Tate misses the front end of the 1-and-1, and Williams rebounds.
We really have to like what Williams gives this Penn State team off the bench. Very, very solid. Doesn't make mistakes. Rebounds, set screens, and particularly on the offensive end, will give you some stickbacks.
Oh, and you're right about the screens. Whoa. Good ball movement by the Nittany Lions. Donovan Williams, the open jump. Penn State again by 10. Ohio State's been hanging around. Biggest deficit's been 11 points. Stone Rook on the drive, had it blocked. Williams has number. Offensive foul, Donovan Williams. Ute did a good job of establishing position defensively.
He really did, and a poor job of making decisions by Donovan Williams on the open floor. We'll see it coming up right here. He gets too deep. Wayne, look, he gets beyond the foul line, nowhere to go. Ute slides over, draws the punch. Good job of transition defense by Ute. Not a good decision in the open floor by Donovan Williams as far as making the pass when he needed to.
Jerry Dunn's team leads by 10, but he does not look like a happy man at the moment. I think he's a little concerned about some of the sloppy play, turnovers, that type of thing that's plagued his team since about midway through this first half. Buckeyes, however, have been guilty of mistakes of their own, and that's one of the reasons why they trail now by 9. Rick Ute has a nice first half going with 8 points here.
There's times I'm sure that Rick Ute feels like a camp counselor with all these freshmen around. He's the only senior that they have out there.
That's right. Ute with 9 points, playing his final game for Ohio State. Pressure in the backcourt. They clear to Damian McKnight. Calvin Booth and Damian McKnight are roommates and best friends. McKnight sets the floor. Coming up on a minute to go, first half.
We have 1 minute remaining.
Donovan Williams, tough pass there. Gaudio digs it out. The block by Tate. They got a foul coming up. Penn State wants goaltending on the block by Tate, and that's what the officials may be talking about right now. They're scoring the field goal, goaltending.
Well, a tough catch by Gaudio in traffic, just able to snag it away. Gaudio takes it, gathers himself, and takes it up to the rim with some authority. Watch it right here. Tough catch in traffic. He's just getting mugged. Take your pick on who they call the foul on.
Sean Stonerook is the guilty party. His first, 8th on the team. Gaudio gets credit for the field goal, and he's looking for his 7th point of the afternoon. So 3-point play gives Penn State an 11-point lead in the final minute, first half. Deshaun Coleman. $20 to go on the shot clock. Ute on the drive, blocked by Gaudio on the foul. Second personal on Gaudio, 9 on the team.
Foul on Matt Gaudio is his second. That's 9 for Penn State.
Gaudio, the senior, out of West Virginia, 1991 West Virginia Player of the Year in high school. 5th-year senior, a tri-captain, was an assistant coach with this Penn State team last year at this time while he rehabilitated a back injury, and Gaudio heads to the bench. 39.2 seconds remaining in this first half with Rick Ute at the free throw line. Ohio State not taking advantage at the line. Ute misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Penn State's lead stands at 11. Ohio State just 3 of 6 from the free throw line of this first half. There's about a 3 seconds difference, shot clock to game clock. 10 to go on the shot clock right now.
Another good screen by Williams on the baseline.
Donovan Williams had the open shot. The steal by Donovan Williams and the conversion. Singleton at the buzzer, off the mark. Donovan Williams with 6 points. His buzzer beater has given Penn State a 39-26 lead here at halftime. Time now to step away to the Big Ten studio, and let's go down to Mike Gleason.
All right, thanks a lot, Wayne Larrabee. The Penn State Nittany Lions are trying to get in the win column before they start playing the music for the big dance here in '96. Coming up, we'll bring you some updates from some of the conference tournaments from all across the country. We'll see whose dream is still alive for some March Madness. So we'll be back, but first, these messages. Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealers. Gillette, the best a man can get. Sears, come see the many sides. And Pizza Hut, you will love the stuff we're made of.
Plymouth Neon Coupe with a zippy 2-liter 16-valve engine. Ride-tuned suspension, a 5-speed tranny, and 132 wild ponies. It's a pretty hot little number. Plymouth Neon Coupe, just $89.95.
The muscles of the back are strong enough to support the entire human body. Now, through a technique called cardiomyoplasty, we're using them to support the heart as well. When the heart is weakened by cardiac disease and a transplant is not possible, muscle from the back can be wrapped around the heart to help it beat more strongly. It's a valuable new technique, and we're one of the few hospitals performing it.
Medical College of Pennsylvania Hospital, a leader in advanced medicine.
From Walt Disney Pictures, the Seavers are taking off for Canada, but their pets
I thought I smelled a litter box.
are about to land in San Francisco.
Run for your lives!
This spring, Shadow, Chance, and Sassy are ready for adventure.
Let's get him.
Oh, stop.
Looking for fun. And headed for theaters everywhere.
I meant to do that.
Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco, rated G. Now playing at a theater near you.
The new Plymouth Voyager was named Automobile Magazine's All-Star Minivan for 1996. Car and Driver ranked it in their 10 best automobiles of 1996. And not only does it surpass other minivans on the road, but with a 3-liter, 150 horsepower V6 engine, it has 36 times the cargo space of a Porsche 911 for about a third of the price.
Can you spot the difference between these two transmission problems? Don't watch, just listen. Bet you can't tell the simple problem from the one that's a real handful. That's why at AMCO Centers, expert technicians use state-of-the-art diagnostic tools. Fact is, half the cars serviced at AMCO Centers don't need a new transmission. Come to AMCO. We can open your eyes. AMCO, AA, MCO.
It's halftime in State College of Pennsylvania. There you see it, the Nittany Lions of 39-26 over the Ohio State Buckeyes, and the Nittany Lions trying to get back in the win column before that field of 64 is announced tomorrow night. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Big Ten studios. It's our final weekend of the Big Ten regular season. Coming up next, we'll be shipping you to Champaign-Urbana. Lou Henson's a final Big Ten game as much as Clem Haskins likes Lou. Minnesota, of course, is clinging to hopes of a berth in the field of 64. Later today, Wisconsin travels to Michigan, even though the Wolverines are probably in. A win means momentum. They're a young ball club, and they can't afford to rock the boat right now. Big Ten champion Purdue goes into Iowa City. Never an easy place to play, but Purdue could be playing for a top seed in the Big Dance. And Tom Izzo's Spartans bouncing back in the win column earlier this week, but they have to travel to Bloomington, Indiana, and the Hoosiers are looking for their 4th straight victory. They'll play that one in Bloomington tomorrow. All right, let's check out the MAC Finals in Toledo, Ohio. The fired-up finals fans and some of the little guys shining early in this one. Toledo's Craig Thames gets the nice offensive rebound, scores inside the land of the Giants. Rockets go up early, but Eastern comes back. Here, the ball gets knocked away. 5'7" Earl Boykins takes it the distance, scores. Eastern goes up by 10 at the break, 35-25. And as we light up the scoreboard, there it is, the updated score, 10:45 to go in the ball game. It's Eastern Michigan now, 54-46 over the Rockets. ACC, Maryland, of course, having that nice run in the tournament last year with Joe Smith. And Joe Smith is no longer there, of course. Maryland, Georgia Tech, that starts at 1:30. Clemson, Wake Forest, they'll tip that one off around 4 o'clock. They're playing that one in Greensboro, North Carolina. In the Big 8, Kansas, ranked number 5. Kansas, Purdue, one of those two teams probably will get a top seed. Kansas will take on Kansas State. That's a 2 o'clock tip. And later in the Big 8, the Missouri Tigers and the Cyclones of Iowa State will tip it off around 4:30 this afternoon. Conference USA last week, the Marquette and UC. Marquette upsetting at UC last week. They start that one at 1:30. That could be a good one there. And Arkansas, Kentucky in the SEC. Top-ranked Kentucky rolling with 100 points yesterday. I don't know if anybody can stop that team at this juncture. And later, Georgia, Mississippi State coming up in the SEC tournament. We're heading back to Bryce Jordan Center, and some of you younger basketball fans might want to listen to this because you can find out how you can actually get in to Penn State University. That's coming up next on the Big Ten Halftime Report. Stay tuned.
Plymouth Neon. Fun and affordability in 4-door and coupe. The all-new Plymouth Voyager and Grand Voyager, the next generation of the minivan. And the new Plymouth Breeze, the sports sedan with fun for 5. The new line of Plymouths. What'll they come up with next?
But I never know what the other person is going to do. That's why I drive a Ford Windstar. It just received a 5-star rating in a recent government test. That's better than Chrysler minivans. I'm not as nervous about driving, as long as there's a Windstar between me and everything else out there. Your Ford dealer, the David one.
With 1,000 cash back, Windstar is $1,760 less than Chrysler, or get 4.8 financing.
How you doing? I'm Wilson Lee, star of the show, which is about Tom here working on my all-black variety series. Now, a lot of people are worried about us depicting stereotypical behavior. So here's our pledge to America.
I, Tom Delaney, promise never to rap, talk street, do the bump, or engage in any other white guy acting black behavior.
That's right.
Except during sweeps week. And then it's like, hey, homie, I'm no honky.
Tap it fast for him. He can get loose.
The boldest, funniest new comedy of the year is The Show, premiering March 17th.
Penn State beaten at the buzzer by Wisconsin earlier this week. It's halftime. They lead the Ohio State Buckeyes 39-26. Let's go back out to Happy Valley with Wayne Larrabee. Wayne?
Good afternoon once again, everyone. Wayne Larrabee standing by with Jeffrey Harford, the director of admissions here at Penn State University. And Jeffrey, this is your shot. If someone wants to go to Penn State, what do they do?
The best thing to do if you want to come to Penn State is obviously apply. And when we look at applications, our emphasis is on what you've done in high school and your standardized test scores, be they the SATs or the ACTs. And I think the one thing that's beautiful, in my opinion, about Penn State is we're very diverse. So we have 19 locations. Students can have a very diverse experience at various locations of Penn State.
You know, we talk so often about admissions and athletics. How much of a working relationship does an admissions department have with its athletic department?
Well, obviously, all I can speak about is Penn State. We have a very good working relationship with the athletic department, with Tim Hurley and Alan Perry and the whole athletic department. We meet with them periodically. We meet with the coaches so they understand the importance of what we're looking for, and we can appreciate what they're interested in.
There are, imagine some instances where you're going to admit an athlete because he brings special qualities to the program that maybe you wouldn't, with the same grades, admit someone else who does not have athletic ability like that?
Well, I think you shouldn't restrict it just to athletics. When building a class, we are interested in the diversity of the student, not only academics, but athletics may be something, it may be music, it may be art. So we don't want to hone right in and think just because it's athletics that they are getting a special treatment.
Now, does athletics help admissions when a school or a team does well, a basketball team, maybe a football team, as is the case here with Penn State? Does that help you? Do you find more applicants when you have a good year at football or something?
Well, we'll start with last year. We did see an increase in applications, and our vice provost kiddingly always says that was because of the Rose Bowl. And we have seen again another increase in applications this year. So I think exposure that we're seeing, like today, does help us to bring Penn State to other individuals, not just athletically, but make them aware of the institution.
What are your goals in general in admissions?
The major goal is the end result, graduation. I think when you look at an institution like Penn State, you look at the Jordan Center, sometimes you think, oh, it's very big, it may be impersonal. We strive very hard in the admissions office to be very personal in working with students and to find out, is really Penn State the right fit? If it is the right fit, fine, and then we hope and we work with them so to make sure we want them to graduate, or at least have a very good experience academically and socially.
Jeffrey Harford, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Good luck in admissions here at Penn State.
Thanks, Wayne. Nice to meet you.
Let's send it back to the Big Ten studio and Mike Gleason.
All right, thanks, Wayne. You see the score right there, 39-26 of Penn State over the Buckeyes at the break. Don't forget Minnesota, Illinois coming up in our second game of our Big Ten doubleheader. That one should be a great one. We'll be back with more halftime festivities after this.
The new Kawasaki Vulcan 1500 Classic, with the biggest V-twin ever to hit the asphalt. You've never felt anything like it.
You've got 700 horsepower trucks. You've got Craftsman tools. You've got heart-pounding, bone-rattling, eardrum-busting speed. What else do you need for a perfect Sunday afternoon? The all-new NASCAR Super Truck Series, brought to you by Craftsman. The only tools tough enough for super trucks.
From the best-selling author of Jurassic Park, an expert in Eastern wisdom.
You ever negotiated with the Japanese before?
And a cop from the streets.
This is hardly a negotiation. It's a homicide.
Assigned to a murder that wasn't supposed to happen.
They won't get away with this.
A mystery they weren't supposed to solve.
Someone is watching us.
Sean Connery, Wesley Snipes.
But these guys should know how to do business.
Rising Sun, Tuesday at 8 on Fox, Philadelphia.
How did Dick Dietrich become the host of a show like Nightstand? I guess my mother was my biggest influence. I wasn't her favorite, and that's tough, especially when you're an only child.
Tonight at 12 midnight on Fox Philadelphia.
Well, last year, Eastern Michigan upsetting Gary Trent and Ohio University at the MAC tournament. This year, climbing into the national rankings, and now they're trying to make sure of that NCAA berth. They lead in the second over Toledo in the MAC championship, 66-53. There's our score from Happy Valley, 39-26. We'll get you back out to State College, PA, right after this break. Today's game is brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth and your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Amoco, crystal clear Amoco Ultimate Premium Gasoline, because you expect more from a leader. NutraSweet for your sweeter side. Honey Frosted Wheaties. And DirecTV, it's personalized TV.
Every few years, the world gathers to witness an unparalleled sports spectacle, the Truckathlon. And to compete, you have to have a Ford Ranger 4x4, because you'll need a switch-on four-wheel drive for truck long jump. It's four-wheel anti-lock brakes for truck discus. And it's whopping 4-liter V6 for truck hurdles. The Ford Ranger 4x4. You can't win without one.
Next event, truck pole vault.
Yes!
There's a hard-working gasoline
You sure about this?
with the power to drive down maintenance costs.
Really? Are you serious?
Yes, we are. Exxon gasoline keeps your engine cleaner,
Clean is
so
good.
it can help drive down maintenance costs.
Could gas do that?
Exxon gasoline can, with the power to drive down maintenance costs.
Good idea.
And so is this. Cash and credit prices are the same.
Okay, I'll try it.
People stopping by to rely on the Tiger.
Your gas station is up to speed. Looking for a better way to keep in touch with folks in Canada? AT&T's got a terrific offer. Just 9 cents a minute all weekend long. From anywhere in the U.S. to anywhere in Canada. 9 little cents a minute. Plus, low weekday rates and save 25% on U.S. calls. Only AT&T plans offer all that. Even if you're already a calling plan member, just call 1-800-272-WORLD to enroll. 9 cents a minute to Canada all weekend long for 6 whole months. Now that's a great way to keep in touch. That's your true choice, AT&T.
Don't forget, it's Minnesota, Illinois, Game 2 of our Big Ten doubleheader. Right now, let's send it back to Happy Valley with Wayne Larrabee and Sean Morris. The second half of the Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions. Gentlemen?
Thank you very much, Mike Gleason. There's our score, 13-point lead, thanks to a late flurry by Penn State down the stretch. Wayne Larrabee and Sean Morris. Interesting first half of play.
Absolutely. Penn State initially able to establish themselves down low, but perimeter-wise, they weren't able to get on track. We'll take a look at the highlights.
Take a look at the halftime highlights brought to you today by Ford, and take a look at Pete Lasicki, who got Penn State off early.
But it was a result of a great baseline screen by Phil Williams, who gave Penn State good minutes off the bench.
Jason Singleton, 4 of 4 from the field for Ohio State.
Singleton, a nice job, but a good interior feed by Jermaine Tate. Nice steal by Singleton down low. He was very solid for the Buckeyes in the first half.
Donovan Williams taking advantage of Seniors Day.
Well, a good interior feed to Booth, and then a nice job of scoring up. Nice delivery by Booth. Rewards Williams with a jump shot.
And Williams, again, getting the open shot from the baseline.
Well, he misses the initial opportunity, but Ohio State not able to clean up. Williams comes in with the inside hand, and then sends Penn State into the locker room with a lot of momentum with this jump shot.
Those are the highlights brought to you by Ford. Quick look at the Sears halftime stats brought to you by Sears. Take a look at the shooting. Pretty good for both teams, especially Ohio State, but the rebounding edge big to the Penn State Nittany Lions. All right, start of the second half. Penn State owns a 13-point lead. Jason Singleton on the inbounds for Ohio State.
And 7 of those 20 rebounds for Penn State were off the bench in the form of Phil Williams. Nice job by the big fella.
7 rebounds for Phil Williams, 4 on the offensive glass, giving Penn State second chance opportunities. They're trying for the lob to Tate. They got a foul coming up on Gaudio. Gaudio thought he was actually pushed from behind.
Well, a tough call right there, because out of the locker room, obviously Ohio State trying to establish something early. That's a set play. Gaudio read it.
Ohio State resumes offensively. Stringer. Tate can't convert, gets it back. Booth on the block. Leads the Big Ten in block shots. Earl, nice look. Gaudio on the drive was fouled.
Well, there's a classic case of where defense creates some offense, but nice job by Booth creating the break opportunity.
Foul on Jermaine Tate. As you get a look at the Ohio State leading scores, Tate picks up his second personal foul. Team fouls even at 1 apiece here in the early going of the second half. Calvin Booth leading the way, much of that early in this in the first half of the ball game. 3 of 3 from the field for Calvin Booth.
And you saw Glenn Secunda there, Wayne, with 7 points. All those came early, and then he came out with about 12 or 13 minutes to go in the first half and never came back in.
Secunda 3 of 6 from the floor. Gaudio with 9 points. Phil Williams comes in. He's got to get Matt Gaudio. Gaudio has 3 personal fouls. So the house report's back on. Matt Gaudio telling him, hey, I got so-and-so here. Looks like Phil Williams will be guarding Stonerook. Stonerook out on the perimeter. Opening minute of play, second half. Penn State leading by 15, biggest edge of the afternoon. Stringer an air ball. Booth the easy rebound. Secunda on the move. Dan Earl for 3. Ring it up. 3 points for Dan Earl.
Well, Ohio State in the first half did a pretty good job of closing out on Penn State's perimeter jump shooters right there. Just got lost in transition. Good ball reversal by Secunda to a wide-open Earl.
And Randy Ayers of Ohio State needs a 22nd timeout. So a 22nd timeout here as his Buckeyes have fallen behind 44-26.
A nice ball reversal right there by Secunda. Ohio State gets caught on a little bit of a screen. They just don't close out. You cannot give these Penn State shooters, particularly in transition with their feet set, a wide open look at the rim. You must let them beat you from the perimeter. It has to be off the dribble because they've shown time and time again throughout this season the ability to square up and knock down that stationary jump shot.
So a 5-0 start by Penn State, or a 5-0 start by Penn State in this second half has given them an 18-point advantage. Here in the early going, just over a minute gone by, second half. Here, Ohio State, Sean, this is a pretty important juncture of the ball game. You can ill afford to fall behind by much more. Nice look inside. Tate blew the slam. Singleton rejected by Booth. Stringer to Tate. He was fouled by Booth. Second on Booth, second on the team.
And Calvin Booth inside, just standing in there and rejecting shots. You see the whole sequence. Good feed by Ute. Tate not able to finish. Singleton. Then watch what he does. He fades away, gives Booth a chance to extend those long arms. Ball still loose. Stringer comes up and then Tate comes in, takes it to the rim strong, draws the foul, which is what you must do against a shot blocker such as Booth, is take the ball right at him, take it into his body, do not give him a chance to extend his arms.
Jermaine Tate makes good on his first at the line. He has another. 1 out of 2, but the tip is there, and they're going to give it to Stonerook. So 3-point play on that possession for Ohio State. Now some pressure in the backcourt. Inbounds to Booth. The plan was to keep the ball out of the hands of that man, Danny Earl. Glenn Secunda.
That's why.
Off the mark from Secunda to Earl. And the pull-up by Singleton. Stringer gets it back. Boy, there's a lid over that bucket for Ohio State right now. Those shots are 3/4 of the way down. Lasicki for 3. Stonerook the rebound. Damon Stringer. Singleton, tough pass there. Tate collects down low. I think he traveled, didn't he? No, they're going to score the field goal. No travel and a foul. Beautiful move by Tate.
Good job by Tate, because what he does here, Wayne, is he uses the rim as a shield against Booth. We'll see that the whole play. Singleton's not able to come up with it, but watch what he does. Nice little step under right here. Uses the rim as a defender against Booth's long arms and draws the contact on Earl.
Dan Crispin with the call of the baseline. Crispin, Art McDonald, and Donnie Gray, the officials, on hand from the Big Ten office.
Come back and put together a nice little run. They've shown some composure, particularly for a young team on the road.
12-point advantage, Penn State, and again the pressure in the backcourt. Danny Earl against Jason Singleton. Let's see if Ute doubles down. They're trying to trap. They wanted to go that way, but Earl sensed it and got it across in a hurry. Great competitor, Danny Earl, one of the finest point guards in the Big Ten and one of the better point guards in the country. 15 to go on the shot clock. Earl at the arc. Gets by Singleton. 5 points here. The upset of the second half for Danny Earl. Here's the lead. Singleton to get it back. Blocked by Booth. Secunda. Phil Williams blocking foul coming up on Rick Ute.
Well, regardless of the call, Rick Ute should get a Purple Heart for standing in there to see that oncoming train coming at him right here.
Watch this.
A little dump off right here to Phil Williams. Bam.
That's Phil Williams, and they list him right now at about 270. He may be a biscuit or two above that. He's a big guy.
Well, he was attacking that rim like it was last call for training table. He was not going to be denied there.
Big House has played organized ball just 6 years. There's Randy Ayers. Got to applaud the courage of my guy for standing in there. But Big House is really just learning this game. And I tell you, I've seen him the last couple of years, and he's improved each year.
He's gotten better every time we've seen him. And I tell you what, the thing I like about him, and we mentioned it earlier in the first half, is he plays within his limitations. He knows he's not a great scorer. He knows his job is to go in there, screen, get some stick backs, and play defense, and that's exactly what he does.
Penn State leading by 15. Nittany Lions have hit 8 of their 10 free throw attempts here today. That shot off the mark by Coleman. Now Danny Earl sets it up for the veteran Nittany Lions. Almost 4 minutes gone by, second half. Penn State by 15. Secunda for 3.
And once again, he's able to get open because of a nice screen by Williams. The Ohio State defender not able to get over the top. Secunda actually had a chance to reload, get the seam straight before he let it loose.
Ohio State takes a timeout. 16:09 to go in the game, and the young Buckeyes have fallen behind once again by 18.
Is this your idea of better TV? How about this? Or better yet, this. If you ask me, it's not the TV, but what's on it, like DirecTV. 61 movie channels, 28 music channels, 14 news and information channels, and 12 family channels. All together only on DirecTV. So you can really channel your family's interests. For the DirecTV retailer nearest you, call 1-800-DirecTV.
DirecTV presents Dish Out the Winners.
Okay, baby, it's time to predict which teams will be invited to the 1996 DirecTV Grade 8 Festival. Villanova, Steve Lapis has got a dynamite team. Terry Kittles, are you kidding? Mr. Versatility. They got a dynamite player in Jason Lawson.
To enter the DirecTV Dish Out the Winners sweepstakes, send a postcard with the 8 teams you think might be invited to the 1996 DirecTV Grade 8 Festival.
Almost ready, Dick?
Almost. The Liberty Edition Cadillac DeVille. Luxury features like a cabriolet roof, chrome wheels, and gold ornamentation are all standard. You'll save over $2,500. Is that a typo?
Nope, you'll save over $2,500.
Only a limited supply, huh? Plus, register to win a luxurious weekend at the Greenbrier, America's resort.
Hey, where'd Dick go?
His Cadillac Super Network dealer to take advantage of this limited time offer.
Wayne Larrabee, Sean Morris, take a look at the last play by Penn State.
Well, nice job in the half-court execution. Little kick, and then watch what Phil Williams does. He steps out right here and just gives Glenn Secunda a chance to catch, reload. Rick Ute never had a chance. Nice job by Phil Williams, who's already given Penn State 8 rebounds and a solid floor game overall.
Just about 4 minutes into the second half. Ohio State trailing by 18. Sean Stonerook. Jamie Bosley is in the lineup now for the Buckeyes. Jermaine Tate on the block over Williams. Booth the rebound. Knocked away by Singleton. Booth got it back and then was fouled. Foul is on Singleton. It's his third personal.
Foul is on Jason Singleton. It's his third.
Third on the team.
Well, Calvin Booth was lucky right there because he committed a cardinal sin, and he's only a freshman, so he can be forgiven. We'll give him dispensation for this one. But he threw to a voice rather than a set of hands, because what Singleton did was he said, Booth, Booth, and he heard that voice, and he threw it to the sound of the voice rather than to a Penn State teammate.
Pete Lesticky is again Ohio State Gambling a bit on the open floor. Now Dan Earl sets it up for Penn State. Earl trying to get baseline. Booth. And we got a foul in the entanglement inside. Foul is being called on Sean Coleman, his first personal, and that's 4 on the team.
Yeah, you had about 8 of the 10 players within a 6-foot radius down there. Not a good job of spacing, something you rarely see with Penn State in the half court. The spacing is really one of their strengths, and what you had was you had 2 guys flashing to the ball at the same time, and Penn State was lucky in that Booth was able to draw the foul.
Booth makes good on his first. He'll have another.
And watch the rotation. He has to hit absolute bottom. There's no backspin. That's a duck.
10 points for Calvin Booth as he hit the bottom there. And now, again, back into the lineup is Damon Stringer for Ohio State. And he gets Nashawn Coleman. Stringer with Bosley, Stonerook, Tate, and Grady on the floor. And Gradney puts in on the turnaround. There's that stroke you were talking about.
I knew I liked him for a reason. I'm glad he scored.
I know it. We saw him during practice yesterday, and he does show a nice shooting stroke.
He shows a nice touch, and he'll get bigger, because right now, if he turned sideways and if he weren't wearing a red jersey, we couldn't see him.
Couldn't see him, exactly. Pete Lisicki. There's the skip. Danny Earl cranks it for 3. Ring it up. His second from the arc. He has 8 points, all of which have come in the second half.
And a nice little fade cut by Danny Earl. Steps in like he's going to make the baseline screen or use the baseline screen, then fades to the 3-point arc, and Lisicki finds him.
The lead is 21 for Penn State. Stonerook in traffic, had it knocked out of bounds. It'll belong to Ohio State. 22 to go on the shot clock. We are second half from the Bryce Jordan Center on the campus of Penn State. Trying to knife in is Tate, and a foul coming up on Penn State. I believe that was Secunda they signaled.
They did get Secunda. But boy, it was Tate and a lot of traffic down there. The interior feed, and showing a little bit of inexperience. He puts the ball on the floor, which then draws an additional defender. And there's a situation where it's good. He better be glad he's not bulky, because if he weren't so wiry, he couldn't have gotten through that traffic.
Well, if you're a big guy and you're on the block, don't put the ball on the floor, right? You bring everybody down. You go down to everybody else's level, I guess, at that stage. Tate off the mark on his first. He'll have another. Tate just 2 for 5 from the free throw line. One out of 2. He breaks even on those free throws. Pressure in the backcourt by Ohio State. The lead is 20 for Penn State. We are second half. Coming up next, Minnesota and Illinois on many of these creative sports stations. Jeremy Metzger in the game for Penn State now. Earl had it knocked away, and we got an offensive foul.
I think they got him clearing out with the inside arm on the little give-and-go 2-man play with Metzger. You see it coming up. The interior feed, and it goes away from the basketball. Good job by Earl. Shot fake. Then watch the inside arm, trying to create space.
Pushed off with the right elbow. First foul on Danny Earl. Ohio State. 14 minutes to go in the game. Tate double down from Lisicki. Gradney on the fade. Tate trying to struggle to get it back. Metzger finally clears. And now we've got a foul. Coming up on Stonerook. Sean Stonerook's second personal. 5 on the team.
Well, not a bad job right there by Ohio State, but what you saw was their youth, because they weren't able to gather with the amount of strength that we've seen the Penn State players be able to come under control and go back up. That'll come as their bodies mature and they're able to get on a significant weight program.
Foul in the backcourt. Gradney, I believe, no, it's going to be on Stonerook again. That's his third. Stonerook picked up 2 fouls here in the last few seconds. He's got 3 personal fouls, 6 on the team. Gaudio back into the lineup for Penn State. He replaces Big House Phil Williams. This game has gotten away from the Buckeyes. Bosley, little play acting there. Here's the steal by Gradney, but he knocked it out of bounds.
And there's when we talked about Bosley just being a pest. Not only is he annoying the big guys, now he's taken his act on the road and gone out to the perimeter.
Plays hard every game. Going to battle Danny Earl. Made him give it up. 17 to go on the shot clock for Lisicky. Williams. Donovan Williams is not in the press guide for Penn State because he is a fifth-year senior who decided at the last minute to play this season, and he's glad he did. Metzger may have been holding that time on the block against Tate. Metzger picks up his second personal, 6 on the team.
And the folks at home probably are wondering, how are these Penn State guys getting such clear looks at the rim? And we've seen time and time again the headiness of these Penn State guards. Right there, Donovan Williams came off a nice baseline screen by Metzger, got a clear look at the rim. And most importantly, what they do, they use the screen well coming shoulder to shoulder.
The inbounds to Sean Stonerook, and we see the explosive leaping ability that he brings to the party.
He's going to be much more effective when Ohio State gets a true post player, and Tate will be able to move to the 4 or power forward spot, and Stonerook moves from the 4 to the 3 or small forward.
Really what the Ohio State Buckeyes need, they need a big guy inside, and they need a shooter outside, and they've got the rest of the components. This would be a very good basketball team if they can do that. And assuming, as you mentioned, that these kids mature physically as well as mentally in the upcoming offseason. Oh, there's a block by Stonerook there. Damon Stringer. Stonerook looking for baseline. Metzger cut him off. Stonerook throws it away. Williams cross-court. McKnight in the pass a bit too much. Penn State misfiring in the open court, although their lead is still 20 points. Coach Dunn will dwell on that a little bit, I would imagine, in terms of correcting some of the problems. You know, despite the lead, Sean, and Penn State's played a good game here. They've dominated in some aspects of the game, but you can see what has concerned Coach Dunn so much here in the last week or so of the season, and that is just some mistakes, some careless mistakes, it seems like. Traveling the call on Jermaine Tate. Turnover, Ohio State. Penn State not quite firing on all cylinders.
No, and they seem to have some tired legs, particularly some of the guards who have had to play a great number of minutes down the stretch here, and they haven't taken as good a care of the basketball as they were earlier on. They've been a little bit more careless, and I'm sure that Coach Dunn is going to emphasize that as they head into tournament play.
Donovan Williams out front. And again, when you go to tournament play, it's like starting a new season. I mean, obviously, if you can't get up for that, you shouldn't be in this game. Penn State, we talked about it with Coach Dunn yesterday. After Purdue basically clinched about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, his kids, again, who had been in the race all season, Gaudio off the mark there, they may have hit a little wall mentally. Because now you're not playing for the championship. You're trying to play for a better record, for a better seed. Blocking foul here on Donovan Williams. And that's a little more, that's harder to get up for. That's harder to motivate yourself over.
It's harder to motivate yourself because seeding is so far, it's out of these teams' control. It's going to take place far, far away from whatever campus that any of the 64 teams happen to be on. So once they were eliminated officially from the Big Ten race, it's natural to have a little bit of a letdown, particularly after the rapid-fire start that this program got off to. They went undefeated in the non-conference slate, and then really were tearing up the league earlier on, and then just hit a snag because no one is going to run the table in this league in basketball. It's just too competitive.
And, you know, again, Penn State earlier, as you mentioned, barnstorming through the first half of the Big Ten, looked like it was their destiny to win the championship this year. When that doesn't happen again, you can understand how there'd be somewhat of a letdown. Stringer makes good on a pair at the line. 11:26 to go from Happy Valley in the Big Ten season for Ohio State. Penn State 57-39.
The roads are getting rougher, and the chores are just getting tougher. You're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does, too. Meet the all-new 1997 Ford F-150. It throws an even longer shadow, with a wider stance and the largest V8 payload on the job. Plus an all-new suspension that loves abuse. After all, the ground's not getting any softer. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
I got a plan for tonight, and the plan is to have no plan at all. Maybe I'll send my left brain on vacation for a while. Maybe I'll let my soul be the boss. Maybe I'll stay out a little late. Maybe I'll stay out a lot late. Maybe I'll go to a party uninvited and dance with every woman in the place without touching the floor once. Maybe I'll go to a city that never sleeps, and maybe I'll put it to bed. What are you going to do? Molson Ice, step outside.
If you've been thinking about Ford Escort, think fast. Because right now, you can get $1,000 cash back or 4-8 financing on every 3-door Escort or GT in stock. Whether you choose manual or automatic, you get standard dual airbags, AM/FM stereo, AC, and more. With 4-8 financing or up to $1,000 cash back, Ford Escort is still priced less than Neon. A leader in quality and value. No wonder more Escorts are still on the road than any other small car.
This Ford update takes us to the MAC Finals in Toledo, Eastern Michigan. Cruising now. Derek Dial steps outside. It's raining threes, and Eastern Michigan are beating Toledo 77-63. The Eagles are headed to the big dance. Let's go back to Wayne and Sean.
Back in Happy Valley, Penn State leading 57-39. Coach Jerry Dunn in his first year at the helm of the Nittany Lions after 12 years as an assistant under Bruce Parkhill. Took over in September following Bruce's resignation. Jerry, 42 years old. His twin brother Terry is an assistant coach at Colorado State. Grew up in Raleigh, North Carolina, and he and his brother used to help out on the farms picking cotton and tobacco. You want to... That's work.
That is work.
Man. Trap in the backcourt. Williams gets it off the feed from McKnight. Matt Gaudio resets. Penn State now with Gaudio, Metzger, Secunda. Good size up front. Williams and McKnight the backcourt.
And Ohio State goes zone after the timeout.
Gaudio to
nice
Metzger
look.
in close. Yes, and a foul.
Nice high-low game by Gaudio and Metzger. Gaudio flashes into between the seams of the zone. Nice little duck-in move by Metzger. Gaudio finds him, and Metzger hits every part of the rim. Finally, the bottom. But you see right here the flash, and then coming in from the right side of your screen, Metzger, nice duck in. Gaudio delivers.
Metzger puts in on the three-point play, his first 3 points of the afternoon. The foul was on Singleton, his fourth personal. Singleton, number 23, now Stone Rook out high. Looks like Stonebrook may develop more into a point forward later on in his career here at Ohio State.
Yeah, he has the ability to play the three or small forward, no question.
Bosley from the outside. Donovan Williams. Trap in the half court. Secunda open. Nice look, Gaudio for the easy two. 11 for Matt Gaudio. And a foul.
The good ball movement against the trap, and then what Ohio State did not do is they watch the trap up here on top, and then the defenders that were out there do not get back. That's Bosley's responsibility. He does not cut off that feed.
Bosley's first personal, 8th on the team. Another look at it.
Then a nice delivery right there. Good job against the trap. But the two trappers out here at the half court, Wayne, have to sprint back and take away that passing angle. Bosley was caught alone by himself. Drew the foul.
Gaudio now with 14 points, and the Penn State lead is 63-39, almost halfway through second half. Singleton with the turnaround. Good position on the rebound by Secunda. Take a look at the shooting percentage of the second half for Ohio State. Every bit as cold as the weather outside. Foul coming up off the ball here, and it's going to be on Metzger, I believe. Jeremy Metzger is third personal.
I think they got him for sticking out his hip on one of those baseline screens trying to free up Donovan Williams.
Metzger is 6'10", about 250. He's another wide body. My goodness, you bring him and Phil Williams in here, and you can cordon off half the floor.
Seismographs in the whole Western Hemisphere are going on.
David Stringer. This is the front end. Buckeyes bang away at it, and Bosley gets it. How did little Jamie Bosley get in there?
Well, he waited for it to drop down below everybody else. But he is a scrappy kid.
Off the hands of Metzger. Stone Rook, nicely done. .9:45 to go in the game. Penn State still leading big. McKnight gets by Bosley and now resets the floor. 20-point lead for Penn State. Secunda for three.
And once again, Singleton does not close out. And if you notice, Wayne, Secunda for the second time had a chance to readjust the ball and get the seam straight before he let it loose.
Stone Rook. Pelter in and out of the basket, and now the foul coming up on Bosley as he chopped away at Matt Gaudio. So Bosley picks up his second personal.
See the little baseline hook. Gaudio cleans up. And the Bosley's in there hacking and slashes. He's going to get his money's worth.
A little pesty guy.
He is.
You've got to like the energy, though, that he brings, the intensity that he brings to the game. Sometimes it's not pretty. So Matt Gaudio heads to the free throw stripe. Penn State has hit 12 of 14 free throws, as you would expect shooting at home, and Ohio State 8 of 14. Gaudio makes good on his first. He'll have another. Again, back surgery 2 years ago. Basically, he had given up his career of basketball and was a volunteer graduate assistant coach for Bruce Parkhill last year. Actually, not a graduate assistant, but an assistant coach as a volunteer last year. And really caught the bug to play again when he watched his team in the NIT. Ohio State running through the NIT. Or I should say Penn State running through the NIT. Gradney off the mark. Bosley into the stands. Gave the patrons in the expensive seat a little more for their money. 8:58, just under 9 minutes to go in the game. Penn State leading by 24. Bosley bothering McKnight in the backcourt. Penn State today trying to get their 21st victory of the season. Secunda lost his footing and the ball. Bosley and
smart play by Bosley.
Bosley called for the timeout.
First of all, he knocks it away. He dives in on top of it. And while the scramble is going on, he turns to the official, gets the timeout. Secunda puts the ball on the floor, loses his position, and then look at Bosley digging it out. Then look at him reach over, timeout, and the official recognizes him.
Break of the action. Ohio State trailing Penn State here in the second half.
That was some kick.
Absolutely.
Good kick, man.
My man Chuck with the twisted ankle hit the 25-yarder.
We'll be talking about this for years.
Did we ever tell you ladies about the kick? With pouring rain.
And this guy Chuck with a broken leg kicked the game winner for 45 yards.
Did I ever tell you kids about the kick? It was a freak November blizzard.
And then your dad, in a full body cast, hit that miracle kick from 68 yards.
Things just seem to get better around the Pizza Hut pizza. You'll love the stuff we're making.
History teaches primordial perspiration shouldn't mess with one's style. Consider this powerful discovery. Right Guard Pure Power Clear Gel. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff, protecting one powerfully. For when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right Guard Clear Gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Horsepower trucks. You've got Craftsman tools. You've got heart-pounding, bone-rattling, eardrum-busting speed. What else do you need for a perfect Sunday afternoon? The all-new NASCAR Super Truck Series, brought to you by Craftsman. The only tools tough enough for super trucks.
This SEC semifinal game brought to you by Ford, Arkansas, Kentucky. Top-ranked Kentucky out of the gate. Anthony Epps steps outside, pops the three. UK 23-14 over the Razorbacks in the first half. Let's go back to State College Create.
Thank you very much, Mike Gleason. That's our score with 8:32 left to go. Seniors Day. It's a pleasure to be joined by the former head coach here at Penn State, Bruce Parkhill. Bruce, thank you for stopping by. I know this must be an emotional day for you. You built this team, and a lot of these seniors, the 4 seniors that are here graduating, this has got to be a very important moment for you too.
Very much so, Wayne. It's one of those kind of bittersweet moments where you really feel good about what's happened, but you really hate to see some of those guys who have been so important leave. And not only the players, but Eddie the cellist just got a head job down at East Tennessee State, and so he'll be leaving the program. So there'll be some changes here with the Nittany Lions.
But you know, this team, as you came into the season, and many have described this as a breakthrough year for Penn State. Bruce, did you know what you had coming into the season? And you resigned in September, I know, but I know that was a difficult moment and situation for you. But did you know you were going to have this kind of a team?
Yeah, I really did, Wayne. That's actually one of the reasons that I felt good about stepping away at that time, because I knew the program was in the kind of shape that I wanted it to be in, so I felt like I had accomplished what I wanted to. Therefore, I could step away and feel good about it.
All right, Bruce, listen, thank you so much for stopping by and visiting with us. Continued success. I know you're one of us now. You're working in creative sports on the Penn State package, and we've had an opportunity to see you do a great job, and hopefully you continue in that vein.
I hope so. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you
Good to be with you guys.
All right. Bruce Parkhill, former head coach here at Penn State. Dan Earl at the free throw line. 8:04 left to go in this contest, and Danny Earl converts. Ohio State resumes offensively. 68-45, the lead for Penn State. Bosley for the outside. Bosley going back after it. Tate brings it down. Tate lost the handle on it. Bosley battling Donovan Williams. Williams to Danny Earl. Fouled on the play by Stringer. Earl will be back at the line.
A good job in transition between Williams and Earl. Two point guards running the break very effectively. And you mentioned Matt Gaudio's back, and obviously a great deal of tribute has to be passed to his way to come back from such a debilitating injury, because the back is just takes so much counting in the game of basketball. But Danny Earl playing with a pretty severe strain in the back as well, and he's really putting on a gutty performance down the stretch.
And we mentioned how he's played some of his best basketball. He had 6 of 10 at Wisconsin in a losing cause, 3 of 6 from the arc the other night. He just put in his 10th point of the afternoon here. He had 12 assists at Iowa on February 3rd. There's Matt Gaudio playing his last game here at Penn State. Dan Earl's been averaging almost 15 points a game in his last 5 contests and has 11 here today. Stringer forcing it back down the floor for Ohio State. Buckeyes trailing by 25. Jermaine Tate. Nice adjustment there, just couldn't get it to fall. Belter bangs away at it, but Donovan Williams retrieves. This is Dan Earl. Calvin Booth inside over Tate. Secunda goes low to get 2.
It was a good job of offensive rebounding by Secunda, but Booth put himself out of position to score with that dribble, took himself out beyond the rim.
Tate, again, they rim the bucket on it. Gaudio the rebound. Here's Secunda, fouled on the play by Damon Stringer. Damon Stringer picking up his 3rd personal. Ohio State is over the double limit. There's Randy Ayers in his 7th season at Ohio State. 2-time Big Ten Coach of the Year, the 1991 National Coach of the Year with the high-flying Buckeyes and Jim Jackson and company back to the early part of the 90s. We mentioned his program has struggled in recent years, but they seem to have a very solid foundation to build on. A couple of seniors, or actually one senior leaving. Matt Gaudio has a seat on the bench. Danny Earl will be back next year. But Gaudio stepping off the floor here in Happy Valley for the final time as a member of the Nittany Lions. His next action will be in the NCAA. 4 seniors playing in their last games here are Donovan Williams, Matt Gaudio, Glenn Secunda, and we saw Chris Rogers start the game earlier and played pretty well, I might add.
And he's back in there now giving Danny Earl a little bit of a break.
Coleman out front for Ohio State. 74-45, the score in favor of Penn State. Coleman left that short. Stonerook is there. Sean Stonerook, a pretty nice ball game. 8 points here in the second half, 10 in the game.
He's really started to come on in the second half of the Big Ten season. Not the strongest kid, but very athletic. And when they move him to the 3 spot, he is going to be a very, very effective player. Can step out and knock it down at 15 feet as well.
The Buckeyes have not quit. That full court pressure forced Secunda to call a 22nd timeout for Penn State. There's Jerry Dunn lecturing his squad.
We were talking with Coach Ayers yesterday, Wayne, and I thought he made a great point. He said that with this young squad, he's had a better opportunity to do more teaching the game of basketball than he probably has in the last 3 or 4 years for a variety of reasons, whether it be a veteran squad or just having to fill some gaps with personnel. And with this young class of freshmen, he's had the opportunity to watch them grow and develop, and he's had a great opportunity to teach them the game of basketball and his particular system within that.
Now the key for them is to get these kids into an off-season weight program and to add, as we mentioned, maybe a big man and a shooter if they can to this program, and then get these folks in the right spots up front. And if they do that, they'll be right back in the first division of the Big Ten, because they have some ability in this freshman class. These freshmen here at Ohio State have combined for 75% of the team's points, 67% of the rebounds, and 86% of the assists. So there is a future for this program. Beautiful cut by Secunda. Nice speed. They're calling goaltending on the call. Secunda gets credit for the field goal. He has 19. Nice game for Glenn Secunda heading into the NCAA.
Nice job of using the screen by Glenn Secunda and coming off with a little curl cut. Booth finds him. Nice play.
Steve Belcher back in the ball game for Ohio State. Coming up on 6 minutes left to go. It's Penn State 76, Ohio State 47. Penn State will be 21-6 overall, 12-6 in the Big Ten, 14-0 here at home. Bradney knocked out of bounds, and it's going to belong to Ohio State. The hustle by Secunda. Metzger is on, replacing Calvin Booth for Penn State, and Booth receives a round of applause. And the chant of Booth, Booth. Calvin had a good ball game here today. The all-time leader in Penn State single-season history for blocked shots. Beautiful play there. Singleton finishes it off. His first field goal of the second half is 10 in the game. Steal by Singleton. Oh, my gosh. In Jordan-esque fashion to the rack. Buckeyes continue to pressure in the backcourt. Donovan Williams knocked out of bounds, last touch by the Buckeyes. Take a look at the first Singleton play.
Well, nice job right here. You can see it. Nice little back screen. They put it up around the rim. Singleton finishes. Great job. Then he steals the inbounds pass and sends it home like an unwanted guest.
Yes, indeed. Rogers handling in the corner. Coming up on 5 minutes to go in the game. Chris Rogers resets the offense. Secunda with 3 to go on the shot clock. Stevens mishandles. Gets it back, and the shot clock expires. Stevens put it in, but the whistle had sounded, and so had the buzzer before the shot was authored. Art McDonald right on top of the call. Not a happy decision here in Happy Valley, but nonetheless the correct call, it looked like.
But I'll give you some pretty good odds. That's going to end up on a lot of highlight shows.
Yes, indeed. But if you see it tonight on the highlight shows, just understand that didn't count. The tip by Stonerook off the miss by Stringer. I like that Stonerook. He's going to be a player. He and Tate. Stringer is a very good point guard, and you know, again, you take a look at Coleman and Singleton. Freshman class for Ohio State. You like Bradney. I do too. See, they've got some talent here. They've got something to build on, which is quite a bit different from the way things were at the end of last year. Rogers had a poked away quick hands of Stringer. It'll belong to Penn State. Take a look at this. Now, understand this doesn't count, but we'll give him 9-5 at least on style points here. On point of difficulty. How about that? Here we go. Maybe not style, but difficulty. Donovan Williams off the screen by Metzger. Stonerook, the baseball pass ahead to Stringer. The lob for Singleton, nicely done. A glimpse of the future, perhaps, here for Ohio State. Jason Singleton with 6 points in the second half.
This kid's putting on an aerial circus here in the last 2 minutes.
Metzger, nice ball movement. Stevens is fouled. Coleman gives up the foul to stop the easy conversion down low. Second personal on Sean Coleman. So we'll send Stevens to the line, Jared Stevens. I mentioned his brother played up at Michigan State. Dwayne Stevens had a very good career up at Michigan State under Judd Heathcote back in the early 90s. Jared's got to work on that shot a little bit. A line drive right off the back of the rim. See if he gets any air into this one.
Maybe he'll start shooting his foul shots from his rear end.
Secunda the putback. 21 for Glenn Secunda. Secunda the steal on the open floor. Gradney gets it back. Stringer penetrating on the move. Nicely done. Scored and a foul. Score the field goal.
The Stringer hits a tough shot going to his left. A little bit of a floater. He puts it up there, and it drops for him.
Donovan Williams picks up the foul, his third. So Stringer at the free throw line, looking for a three-point play. And he's got it. Break in the action with 3:40 left to go in the season for the Penn State Nittany Lions, who are tuning up for the NCAA.
There are all kinds of reasons we designed Ford Windstar to be so safe, with over 40 standard safety features, including dual airbags and anti-lock brakes. Reasons it received 5 stars, the highest possible rating in government crash tests, higher than any other minivan. In fact, there are so many reasons we designed Ford Windstar as safe as we did, it's impossible to pick our favorite one. Ford Windstar, now available with $1,000 cash back.
What's got Dion acting so sweet? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you trying to catch this? It can only be new Honey Frosted Wheaties. The new frosted flake that's kicked with Wheaties energy for a prime-time taste. Can I get anyone a beverage? New Honey Frosted Wheaties. It's sweet energy.
Hey, Junior, you like the crunch, right? Right. Then you gotta try Crispy Wheaties and Raisins. A raisin cereal with a big crunch. I love the crunch.
Come crunch time, there's only one. New from Wheaties. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
The Gillette Big Ten Player of the Year is Indiana senior Brian Evans. The 6'8" forward led the conference in scoring this year, pouring in just under 22 points a game. He's the first Hoosier to wear the Big Ten scoring crown since George McGinnis 25 years ago. Evans also is the Big Ten's 4th best rebounder, pulling down over 7 boards per contest. He led Indiana in scoring, rebounding, and steals. Twice a Gillette Big Ten Player of the Week this season, Evans' consistent play led the Hoosiers to their 4th straight winning season during his stay in Bloomington. Indiana's Brian Evans, the Gillette Big Ten Player of the Year.
Wayne Larrabee, Sean Morris, Penn State tuning up for the NCAA, leading by 20 over Ohio State. Let's take a look at our Ford Player of the Game, brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealers. Glenn Secunda, 8 of 11 from the field, 21 points, 2 of 4 from the arc, 5 rebounds and 2 assists for Secunda as he heads toward the NCAA. He had been struggling coming into this game, but has done an outstanding job here today. Our Ford Player of the Game. At the free throw line, Jason Singleton, who has 17 points, including 9 here in the second half, the later stages of the second half, and he's kept things entertaining, hasn't he?
Well, he really has, and early in the first half, he showed a good court awareness against that Penn State zone by finding the seams and was rewarded with some easy baskets. But in transition, he has really showed his athleticism.
Singleton comes up short on the free throw, and Williams is there. Under 4 minutes to go. Chris Rogers in his final game of the Penn State program. Bill Williams, he'll be back. Jared Stevens basically just starting his career at Penn State. Nittany Lions working the offense. Down to 10 to go on the shot clock. Secunda wide open. Again had chance to load and set. Not that time. Here's the lead. Stonerook. Gradney scored and a foul coming up on Secunda.
Well, nice look ahead by Stonerook. Good catch by Gradney. He takes it up and finishes. We'll see it coming up right here.
Basket by Gradney was good. The foul is on.
Good look ahead. Nice job of running the floor by Gradney. Stonerook, good feed, gathers, and then delivers.
Gradney misses the free throw. Gets the back tap rebound. Under 3 minutes now to be played. 18-point lead for for Penn State over Ohio State. Stringer. Singleton on the block. Stevens the rebound. And Rogers takes it across. Secunda waving off Rogers. Just dribble it out a little bit, will you? Penn State obviously working the clock here. Rogers watched by Coleman. Down to 10 to go on the shot clock now. Big house, Phil Williams. Not that time, but he was fouled. Foul is on Stonerook. And on Stonerook, that's his fourth.
Well, a good flash cut by Williams, and he got Stonerook behind him. And from our vantage point here on the floor, we temporarily lost sight of Sean Stonerook behind Phil Williams, but a good drop step, and he has really improved every aspect of his game and done a nice job. Good role player for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Looks like he could play on that Nittany Lion football team as well. He's got broad shoulders. Not Jerry Dunn, but the man of the free throw line. Phil Williams. Williams 1 out of 2 at the line. He's got 3. Here's Stringer. 2 minutes left to go in this one. Steal by Stevens. Send it home. Under 2 minutes to go. Stringer for 3. Ring it up. Damon Stringer with a tray. 81-63 Penn State. Here's the steal off the deflection. Gradney pulls up. Knocked out of bounds by Secunda. Will belong to Ohio State. Take a look at the dunk in the open floor. This is what a big forward dreams of.
A lot of real estate. Because not used to be up that high. Now that's not a smooth landing.
No, I think he got shot down there. Coleman off the mark. Stringer banging away at it. Rogers comes out of there with it, and he's fouled on the play by Damon Stringer. One thing you have to appreciate about these Buckeyes, and you always wonder, the final game of the season, is a team going to go into the tank, especially if they get down big. This Ohio State team, these young kids have played hard from the word go. They may not have always played well, but they've played hard, and they're still scrapping.
Yeah, they're playing right to the final whistle, and that's a tribute to these young men, as well as to the coaching staff, to have them ready and prepared, and understand that right now they're taking the lumps and gaining some experience that they hope will pay off when they're upperclassmen, juniors, and seniors.
So another change in the Nittany Lion lineup. Dana Fritz comes into the ball game for Penn State, replacing Glenn Secunda. Listen to the round of applause for Secunda. Transfer out of Syracuse from Morris Plains, New Jersey, playing his final game here at Happy Valley. Rogers misses the first free throw. He'll have another. Minute 29 to go. (82-63) Penn State. Stringer going hard, draws the foul. The foul is coming up on Dana Fritz reaching in on the drive. His first. So 2 shots coming up for Damon Stringer at the line. Penn State celebrating 100 years of basketball this season, and what a year to have. Ohio State concluding its 97th season of college basketball. And, you know, we talked about the Bryce Jordan Center. What a beautiful facility this is. $55 million. Well, Ohio State is looking forward to moving into a new building coming up in the 98-99 season. And a lot of the officials from Ohio State were out here to take a look at this building, get some ideas. And they're going to be putting together a first-class facility. Oh, nice interior feed. Stevens down low, didn't finish. Knocked out of bounds by the hustling Buckeyes with 68 seconds to go to belong to Penn State.
We mentioned Penn State and the type of breakthrough year that they've had, and obviously, you know, gaining 20 wins and assuring themselves an NCAA berth is a breakthrough year, but they're far from an overnight sensation. And You know, we had Coach Bruce Parkhill on a little bit earlier here in the second half, and he's really helped lay the foundation that Coach Jerry Dunn was a part of as well and helped build upon, because they were not a bad team last year. They had a nice year in the league, go to the NIT and reach the semifinals of that postseason event. So this is not an overnight sensation. It has been a gradual building process.
The team that's well put together, as we described earlier. McKnight left that short. Here comes Stoneroyd. Final minute of play. Coleman through the hands of Singleton, who caught it out of bounds. It'll belong to Penn State. You mentioned again that they've got people in certain roles on this team. It really is a team of role players. Danny Earl, the point guard, and Williams lays screens and gets offensive rebounds. Booth is the shot blocker. Secunda Lisicki, outside shooter. Secunda score as well. You know, Gaudio, some muscle and heart inside. And all these pieces have been placed together over the last 4 years and have resulted in a 21 victory season for Penn State.
It's one thing to put the pieces in place. It's another thing to get players who were stars in their own right in high school to buy into that system, and they've done that.
Foul coming up here against Ohio State.
Foul is on Jason Singleton.
Jason Singleton picks up his 5th personal foul, so he'll leave a little bit early, and Robinson heads to the free throw line for Penn State. Robinson a walk-on. 29 seconds to go. Jeremy Metzger comes back on, replacing Phil Williams, who gets a nice round of applause. Davey Bosley back in for Ohio State, replacing Singleton. Robinson puts in on his first. And again, as we mentioned, for the Buckeyes, they've got a couple of more pieces to put together in their puzzle, but just a couple of more. And Randy Ayers has some excellent young talent here that is going to really bear fruit in the future. Nice look. Stoneroyd to Gradney. Well done. 83-66 Penn State. Time winding down on this one. The putback by Stevens off the miss from Fritz. Gradney for the final points of the game. Stevens was fouled. I thought maybe the final points by Gradney, but I don't think so. They're going to get a shot at the free throw line. Let's take a look at some of the action down the stretch here.
Well, Fritz is going to tell you that this is a pass. No way. He's launching the three. It's off. But here comes Stevens to finish.
Well, I'd say in that time he had his feet under him. Got the landing gear down, didn't he?
Absolutely.
Jared Stevens was fouled on a subsequent drive with 2.4 seconds remaining. I misspoke a moment ago when I said Gradney's points might be the last of the game. When you got walk-ons and bench players out there, every second counts, and if there's a chance they could score, they'll do it.
They're going to let it fly.
Absolutely. Stevens puts in a 1 out of 2 at the line. 2.4 seconds remaining. There's the long baseball feed to Gradney. And the fadeaway, score it! Don Jantonio with the final points of the game. Penn State. Jerry Dunn getting congratulations, I should say, from Randy Ayers of Ohio State. Penn State with the victory, 21-6. Ohio State finishes at 10-17. For Sean Morris, Wayne Larrabee saying so long. And from Happy Valley, let's go back to the studio and Mike Gleason.
All right, Wayne, thanks a lot. Nice job. 16-point victory for Jerry Dunn and the Nittany Lions, and they get back in the win column before the big dance starts this week. Still 40 minutes of basketball coming up. Our second game, Minnesota closing out the season in Champaign, Illinois. The final Big Ten game for Lou Henson, and we'll return to the studios to bring you up to date with some of the tournament action around the conferences all over the country coming up next.
Today's game was brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth and your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Gillette, the best a man can get. Sears, come see the many sides. And Pizza Hut, you'll love the stuff we're made of.
What's got Dion acting so sweet?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you trying to catch this?
It could only be new Honey Frosted Wheaties, the new frosted flake that's kicked with Wheaties energy for a prime-time taste.
Can I get anyone a beverage?
New Honey Frosted Wheaties, it's sweet energy.
Hey, Junior, you like the crunch, right? Right. Then you gotta try Crispy Wheaties and Raisins, a raisin cereal with a big crunch. I love the crunch.
Come crunch time, there's only one. New from Wheaties, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
History teaches primordial perspiration shouldn't mess with one's style. Consider this powerful discovery. Right Guard Pure Power Clear Gel. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff, protecting one powerfully. For when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right Guard Clear Gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Final weekend of the regular season in the Big Ten. The first game is in the books. Penn State over the Buckeyes of Ohio State by 16, 86-70. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll take you to Champaign-Urbana, Minnesota. Illinois has the makings of a good one. Gophers feel if they win, they should be in the NCAAs. But keep in mind, this is Lou Henson's final Big Ten game in Assembly Hall. Later, Purdue, holding down the 4th spot of the national rankings, could be playing for a top seed in the tournament. They'll head for Iowa City. Wisconsin travels to Ann Arbor. Wolverine fans aren't used to being on the bubble. Tomorrow, Michigan State wraps up the regular season in Bloomington. Bob Knight's Hoosiers are on a roll. They're going for their 4th straight victory. They'll play that game on Sunday afternoon in Bloomington. Right now, let's head it back to State College, Pennsylvania, where the Nittany Lions have just defeated the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Gentlemen?
All right, thank you very much, Mike Gleason. We are back at Happy Valley, and a happy coach joining us, Jerry Dunn, first-year head coach, Penn State. You've just finished the regular season with a victory here over Ohio State, 86-70, and 21 wins. Not a bad way to start your head coaching career, Jerry.
Yeah, Mike, I tell you what, I'll certainly take that. I didn't know what to expect at the beginning of the year. I thought we had a chance to be a good team, but these guys have given me all that they've had, and as a coach, that's all you can ask. I can't speak enough for this group of kids and our coaching staff.
Well, Coach, coming in, Glenn Secunda obviously was struggling in the last 4 or 5 games. It has to be an encouraging sign for your ball club to have him come out in the last regular season game and put up the type of numbers that he did.
Yeah, you know, Glenn's had a very good year for us, and I said before the game to Glenn, you know, you've had a good season, so you got to blank out the last couple of ball games, you know, where you struggle, and just go out and have fun, relax, and play the game.
Coach, today your execution overall in the ball game, at times a little sloppy, but was this the kind of game and kind of confidence-building session you needed with your ball club out there overall?
It certainly was, Mike. We wanted to make sure that we're winning the game and executed the way that we're capable of doing. We wanted to make sure we had momentum, not only in terms of defense, but in terms of execution. We needed to make some shots, and I think our guys are back where we need to be.
Really quick, what do you hope for in the tournament as far as seeds go? Any idea?
Well, you know, I'm not really sure. I haven't thought about it. I don't think it matters to us. We just got to go out and play the game.
Jerry, thank you much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Send it back to Mike Gleason.
Okay, Wayne, thanks a lot. 86-70, that's the final score. When we come back, we're going to update you with all the action from around the country, starting off with the MAC in Toledo. Eastern Michigan's heading for the NCAAs. Back in a minute.